Hello everyone, it's Karina with Karina Loves to Plan. Thank you for joining me in my little corner of the internet, and today I'm going to swatch the inks that I purchased from the San Francisco pen show. I'll be swatching them in my Hobonichi A5 notebook, and I will be swatching them with my new Browse ornament nib. I received this as part of the monoline workshop. These are unfortunately not really easily found right now. You can, I guess, pre-order them at PenChalet, but there's quite a bit of a wait to be able to get these. And then I will also be swatching with my Kakimori stainless steel nib, and this is on my River City Penco nib holder, and this is on a nib holder made special for me by Bart of Zodiac Penco. Let's get started. Before I do that, these stamps here are from Everyday Explorers Co. This is part of the currently inked stamp set, and I've included a link in the description below. And then that's just a sticker that I made in my sticker shop when I had it open. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to swatch is an ink that I've already tried. This was sent to me as a sample, and then I purchased it. It was actually one of the inks that was on my list to purchase from the pen show. This is Kobe Milk Chocolate. I love the bottle. I love everything about it. It's just really pretty, and I feel like my nails match really well at this point. One thing I'll mention before I start swatching is that this new ornament nib that I purchased at the monoline workshop, I was taught how to take it apart. So there's 3 different parts to it. I was also taught how to properly use this. So you'll only ever dip to where the black area is, but then when cleaning it, you never actually dip the dip nib into the water. You're only dipping, so that's why it's not pushed all the way in. It's only pushed to about there. You're only ever dipping this portion in the water because you do not want that area to rust. But again, with these ones, with the rubber inserts, that'll make rusting a little less prevalent, but it's always good to just not dip the nib holder in there. And then when you're actually done with all of your nib swatching, take this out completely, dry it off, and never store it in here, which was just, this is what I was doing incorrectly before I took my monoline workshop. So now I know better, and now I'm letting you know. Okay, so, all right, let's go ahead and dip. And again, being careful to only dip to a certain point. And I've already used this in a pen and absolutely loved it. It's one of those pinky browns that I absolutely love, and I had to buy a bottle of it. So now I'm gonna dip my stainless steel nib in here. So the brand is Kobe, and the ink is Milk Chocolate. It's such a gorgeous color. And it's one of those that I'm just like, did I need to buy a bottle? And this was an expensive bottle. This was like $30 US. Did I need to buy it? No. Did I want to? Yes. And look at that. Stunning, stunning. So that is Kobe Milk Chocolate. The next ink I purchased was Kobe Strawberry Chocolate, and this is one that I haven't tried before. I basically just went off of what everybody said, like, this is a Karina ink, and I really think Milk Chocolate is a Karina ink, but a lot of people say that Strawberry Chocolate is definitely a Karina ink, and I love that people know what I like. And this is already inked in my Sailor Hachimanji Sakura Bloom. But I mean, already look at it. Gorgeous. And I heard that they actually sold out of this not long after I purchased mine, so I feel really good that I got mine Friday morning. How pretty is that pink? So this is Kobe strawberry chocolate. And I told myself, I don't need this. I don't need this. And then I was right there at the Nagasawa table and I said, just buy it. And I'm so glad that I did. Isn't that gorgeous? Reminds me of another Sailor ink, and I can't name it off the top of my head, and I apologize for that. But that is Kobe Strawberry Chocolate. That is the ink that I'll be using in my Hobonichi A6 5-year journal for the month of September. One of the next inks I purchased was actually, or 2 inks I purchased was from Van Ness. I purchased number 11 as well as Earth Contact. Now, I'm not going to swatch number 11 because it's something that I used just recently, and also I miscalculated how many boxes I need for today, but I'll just show you what that looks like. It's a beautiful purple with pink undertones. I actually used it in August in my currently inked, and that's what it looks like. They're really, really pretty ink, and now I just got that ink on my papers. So I won't be swatching that, but that was one of the inks that I purchased from Van Ness, and I will include a discount code below. I was actually speaking with Lisa of Van Ness at the San Francisco Pen Show, and I will now have an affiliate link or an affiliate code with them. So if you want to get 10% off of any of your inks or pens from Van Ness, use my code down below. But I will go ahead and swatch this ink. This one I only saw from the swatch that they had on the table, and I decided to buy it, and it's got shimmer. And I'm already thinking this looks very similar to an ink that I might already have, but let's see how that goes. Okay, now that is all agitated, that looks amazing. It's Phosphophylite Earth Contact 00. I don't actually know what the name is. What is the name of this ink? Okay, that's going to be difficult. It just says Earth Contact 001, but I believe it's phosphylite. Never mind. All right. Let's see what this looks like here. Ooh, that is beautiful. You know, I never thought that I would really go for like teals or anything like that, but that's stunning. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Oh, I love that. Now I'll dip my, actually, because I've let that settle a little bit. Let's go and agitate that again. Like, it's that gorgeous. I am a big shimmer ink gal. Even though I use extra fine and fine nibs, I do love my shimmer ink. So this is Tono and Limbs. I think it's Earth Contact. .001, but I am not sure. Hold on, that's okay. I'll change it if I need to. And do my figure eights. That is a stunning ink. And that would match really well with my Franklin Christophs. Gorgeous. So that is Tono and Limbs Earth Contact. So Van Ness were also doing samples of different inks, and I chose 4 different ones from Van Diemans. And I have Daybreak, Underflow, Overcast, and Riverbend. So let's put these in order here. The first one is going to be Daybreak. Now I chose these with like a very quick glimpse into what these could look like. This looks like a pink. Ooh, this looks like a lovely pink. These don't have any shimmer in them. Oh, I like it already. That dusty pink. Oh, stunning. Love it. Wow. You can't really see that in camera because of all the glare. I apologize. I will show that once it's dried, but I don't know if you can see this, but there's like hints of green in this ink, and that's why I decided to get it, because it's so interesting. So this is Van Diemans Daybreak. Really interesting color. Now you're probably not going to get too much of like the green and gray around the edges when you're writing with an extra fine or a fine nib, but this would be so fun to do ink splotches with. Perfect. So that's Van Diemans Daybreak. Let's straighten this out. The next Van Diemans ink is Overcast. And just from looking at this looks like a blue. I can't remember what the swatches looked like, so it's like a surprise for me again. This looks like it might be a grayish blue, which I love. Ooh, ooh. Okay, so I might have put too much on the nib. But it does look like it's quite light, so it may not be something that will be very legible. Oh, don't know if you can see that, but it's already having like chromo shading changing properties. Like, that's interesting. That's happening like right in front of me, right there. I let that dry a bit, and can you see all of that chromo shading that's happening there? And even in Daybreak, crazy, crazy, crazy. And I think that's why I like it. Now, I don't know if that'll actually show up on, or in, oh, that's very wet, Van Diemans in a fine or an extra fine nib, but we'll see. This one is Overcast. So yeah, so far in the writing sample in the stainless steel nib, you don't see it as much, but I'm okay with that. But it does feel like it's really light, so I don't know how legible this would be. So that's Van Diemans Overcast. The next Van Diemans ink I purchased was Van Diemans Riverbank. And again, from the label, it looks pink, but we will see. We'll see how similar this looks to Daybreak, but it's looking a little brown. Oh, get the hair off of there. Ooh. Okay, already loving that. Loving that. Reminds me a little bit of Sailor Kitsune Biore, but lighter. Oh my god. Love that. Love that. Now that's a hard one because it went down, it looked brown. And now that it's drying, it looks pink. So I don't know whether to put it in the brown or the pink category. So hold on here. Van Diemans. It reminds me a little bit of Kitten Paws, actually. Riverbank. Let's see how that dries. And actually, now that you're seeing it, Overcast is drying really cool. That even in the writing sample, you can see all of that chromo shading there. Oh, those will be so fun to use. Yeah, this goes down brown and then automatically changes to that pink. Oh my goodness. That's really fun. So that is Van Diemans Riverbank. And then the last of the samples that I got from Van Ness, this one is Underflow. And just a reminder, you can get these from Van Ness and use my code in the description below to get 10% off. So this one is Underflow, looking like it's a blue or a teal. And I like that the labels for Van Ness correspond to what color family they belong to. Ooh. Hold on, I'm holding my nib wrong. It should be parallel to your body. And also, only your fingers should be moving rather than your wrist. But anyway, ooh, this one looks lovely. Ooh, and already you can see the different chroma shading properties here. So fun. Now look at how that is drying. These are such amazing chromo shading inks. So once again, this is Diemans. And this one is Underflow. Like, just look at the pinks that are in there and the purple, really fun. What I like about doing these ink swatches is that you can really see the different properties of the inks when you do the larger swatches. But then you have to remind yourself, are you actually going to see that in the smaller writing sample? Especially if you're using a fine or an extra fine nib. In some of them, you can. Like, for example, Overcast and Riverbank, you can really see the chromo shading. But we'll see how this one dries. In Daybreak, you can't see as much, but we'll see what happens with Underflow. So those 4 samples are from Van Ness, and you can get them. I love Van Ness for samples. So Van Diemans, Underflow. The last 3 inks were given to me by my dear friend. Now, Kate, thank you so much for these. She gave me 3 full bottles of Troublemaker inks, and I haven't tried any of these. So you've got Polar Lights, Butterfly Dream, and Tablet. So let's go ahead and swatch these. We'll start first with Butterfly Dream because I like things in alphabetical order. That's just the way that my brain works. I don't know if I've ever, ooh, it's got shimmer. I don't know if I've ever tried this before, so I'm excited to try this. And I love that Troublemaker Inks is a Filipino company, or they're based in the Philippines. I am Filipino, if you did not know that already. So being able to support, oh, the bottle is green. So being able to support other Filipino like vendors and makers and creatives is just, I love that. Okay. So what is this going to go down as? Oh, that is gorgeous. That is stunning. It's got this beautiful green base with that blue shimmer. Wow. That was very unexpected. I love that. Love that. Look at how that's dried already. The shimmer in that is stunning. Absolutely stunning. So that is, let me make sure that I'm not got too much on there. So we've got Troublemaker. And it's Butterfly Dream. I love the combination of the green and the blue shimmer. I don't think I've seen that before. And it's a beautiful green base. Oops, I forgot to do the figure eights. That is okay. That is so lovely. And you can see a little bit of the shimmer in here as well. Ooh, I'm excited for that one. So that is Troublemaker, Butterfly Dream. Next one is Polar Lights. Now this one looks like it's got green shimmer. I feel like Kay knows that I like shimmer inks. Ooh, so maybe it's got a purple base with a green shimmer. Excited to try this one. Because I feel like it, like I said in the last one, I feel like it's a surprise. I don't know what I'm gonna get because I've never seen these things before. Ooh, it looks very dark. So I don't know what it is yet. It looks black to me. But we'll see. I do see that green shimmer, but it does look like it's black rather than purple. Huh, interesting. So this is a Troublemaker. It looks more black when you first put it down, and then when it dries, you see that green shimmer. Polar Lights. And I can see why it would be named that, because I can see the northern lights during the winter where I live, and it can certainly look like that. But again, I don't know how well that shimmer would look in a fine or an extra fine nib. So pretty though. That would be so great for Christmas. So that is Troublemaker, Polar Lights. Then the last one from the Troublemaker inks from Kay is Tablet. No shimmer in that one. And this looks like a lovely brown. So we'll see. Ooh, it is like a chocolatey brown. That's lovely. It's really soothing to be able to do these swatches using the ornament nib because I'm just going slowly and it's so meditative doing this. That's lovely. Look at how that's dried. That reminds me a little bit actually of Sailor Shirakashi, the way that that dries. So this is Troublemaker, Tablet, I'm not sure. But when you're writing with it, it looks more black. But I love that initial color that it goes down, but it's almost disappointing when it dries to slightly something different. And it's got a little bit of sheen to it as well. Out of those Troublemakers, my favorite one is that Butterfly Dream. That was gorgeous. All right, so that is Troublemaker Tablet. Those are all the inks that I received at the San Francisco Pen Show, and the Van Diemans ones are driving me crazy. They're lovely, so fun. I want to pull out some inks that I've got in. This is my ring binder that has like all the different color families in here, and I feel like Van Diemans Underflow. Well, actually, we'll go through each of them. The milk chocolate. Ooh, I look at it now and it kind of looks like projector film, but this is definitely more saturated in that pinky brown. And then I thought that Sailor Yurameku Kitsune Biori was similar to Riverbank, but the way they dried was definitely not similar. And then I'm gonna pull out Sailor, where is that here? Sailor Shirakashi, and it's obviously going to take me a little bit because I have so many in here. I love that the last time I looked through this, people were like, there it is. Oh, there's Shirakashi. Yeah, these two look very similar. So Sailor Manyo Shirakashi looks very similar to the way that Troublemaker Tablet dried. It's drying more green than it is brown. And I still have a bottle of that Shirakashi, so I may not need Tablet. Now, Tono and Limbs, that Earth Contact, I thought that at first it looked similar to, ooh, okay, so it kind of looks similar to Diamond Inkvent Blue Peppermint, but this has a blue shimmer rather than the kind of silvery teal shimmer that's in here. And then I also thought it might be similar to Morning Morpho, the one that I just received from, here we go, from Stationery Universe, but this is definitely more blue. And then, let's see, Van Diemen's Daybreak. I feel like that is so similar to a lot of different Sailor inks, but I no longer have them in my collection and I never swatched them in here, so I'm not going to be able to see that. Overcast, so interesting that you can still see it in the writing sample, probably more so in like a medium nib or a broad nib. We'll see how it performs in a fine nib. And then, oh, I know what that reminds me of. Sailor Ink Studio 273. It does remind me a little bit of 273. They do have some similar properties. Gosh, that's really interesting. So the chromo shading of the Van Diemans looks very similar to a few Sailor ones, but this one, I feel like this one is very similar to that Kitty ink pot that I just used. And now it's gonna take me ages to find it because that just seems to be the theme when I'm looking through these. It's like you'd think that I'd put these back in the same order. Or is it in the teal? Did I put it in the teal? There it is. Oh, okay, so Kitty Ink Pot is definitely more teal, so not as similar as I thought it would be. And here, there's Diamond Soft Mint, very similar to that Tono and Limbs Earth Contact. So I don't have anything similar at all to the Troublemaker Butterfly Dream. I love that one. It's that blue shimmer with the green base, lovely. But the Troublemaker Polar Lights, I feel like is very similar to, where is it here? It's a Diamond ink, Cappadocia, which, why wouldn't I have it in here? Of course it's not gonna be, I don't know why it's not in here. Or maybe I passed it and you're all yelling at me going, why don't you see it? But yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily something that I would want. I mean, the shimmer really stands out, but we'll see. Maybe I'll give that a try for Christmas and then we'll see how I feel after that. But definitely Troublemaker tablet is not something I necessarily need to keep because Shirakashi is very similar to that already. All right, that is it for this ink haul. One thing I have to say is that I really love how that ornament nib makes these look, and the fact that I've learned how to slow it down and really focus on just the strokes of it, I think just makes this overall page look so much better. All right, but that is it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. Let me know which one your favorite is. And don't forget to hit that like button and to subscribe. Thanks again, and have yourselves a great day.